Hey everybody. Well, I did make it to the lake the other day, but had to leave abruptly when the wind picked up and almost tossed me in. Alright, well, in other words, I also had some time on my hands as I'm busy doing all this other cray stuff. I thought that I would share some of this stuff and maybe our heads could become as one. Ponder made this riddle or riddle made this, so they say, as I'm putting some things together as the Word of God is jumping right off the pages at us, right? Prophecy is coming to pass, dreams and visions, and there was a couple of prophecies that I thought of that were sparking my spirit that we haven't talked about in a long time, and one of them would be the Kadori and Ariel Sharon prophecy. Remember that one? And I don't know if or remember if the one where the two Benjamins are serving at the same time in Israel, which has come to pass as well. Is that related to this? Okay, well, I'm doing some research on this, but honest to goodness, y'all, I couldn't find anything, okay? It was like all gone, and I knew that I had saved some things, and I couldn't find those anywhere. All right, well, as I'm searching it out, I find out why, and I'll get to that. But then, to those who don't know this, because this happened back in 2000, in the early 2000s, anyways, but I do remember seeing and hearing of it later. Okay, so briefly, Kadori, all right, he was like what, 108 years old, possibly they say 106 to 108, not being able to keep accurate track. Back then, well respected Orthodox Jew. Remember that, that's important. Okay, Orthodox Jew. And he was a high rabbi. We had a synagogue, he taught everything, okay? And I mean, my goodness, he was around a long time, right? He was there through everything, even before Israel became a nation. So he was well respected, well honored. Now, he told everybody and he announced, which I do believe was in Tabernacles or in one of the fall feasts, that he had and spoke to the Messiah. And of course, I don't know what everybody's reaction was, but he said that when he passed away, 1 year from that date, after the letter that he wrote was going to be able to be opened to reveal the name of the Messiah, and not until then. And he passed away in January of 2006. So he had said this in 2005. He didn't or couldn't have predicted his death, right? All right, so anyways, he knew as he had had a meeting with and spoke to the Messiah, and he was going to leave a letter, and that letter was going to be opened 1 year after his death. Now, at the same time, he spoke of Ariel Sharon, and I do believe that Ariel Sharon was the prime minister of Israel at the time. And he said that also during this time, he prophesied that after Ariel Sharon had died or passed away, the Messiah would return. Now, there was no way he could prophesy that as well. So, in the same month, coincidence, that Kadori died in 2006 in January, Ariel Sharon had a massive heart attack, which put him in a coma. So, literally, he was brain dead, and by Orthodox Jew tradition, they shouldn't have kept him alive, but they did by machine for 8 years. All right, they didn't want to know the name of the Messiah, um, because by then, this is when Kadori had said a year later, and I do believe it was his son that read the letter. and what had happened, um, and what probably frightened them was that Kadori was also known to be write encrypted, like Jesus wrote in parables, right? Okay, so encrypted in a letter, in a form in which he wrote all of his stuff. um, he had written this letter, in which, of course, excuse the allergies, that they were going to open this letter and find the name of the Messiah, but there was none that they could see at the time. So, knowing the encryption and the way he wrote, they took the 6 words and they took the first letter of each word, and each word, using a code searcher thing or whatever they took, came up to the name Yeshua. So in the letter was encrypted the name of the Messiah to be Yeshua, which is Jesus, right? Which is what we know. But of course, they don't want to know that. So they burnt and tore up the letter right away. They had posted it on the website, I think in 2014 was when there was a website. Um, but that's gone now as well as everything else. So it was very hard for me to find out about this. But does the one about the two Benjamins have anything to do with this at the same time? Um, because I do believe that somehow, somewhere, they had to have Kadori's funeral was so big that there were thousands of people. And it took 2 days for people to pile into the cities of Jerusalem to celebrate his death, you know, resurrection and burial. He was that much adored. And he encrypted in his letter, maybe it was Yahshua, which also is Yeshua, which also is Jesus. Anyways, this as we know it. So that's a little rundown. That's what I've been going through. So, does any of this connect or resonate with anybody? Has anybody else been thinking about this? Does anybody else think that this is in play with what's been going on for right now? I don't know. Tell me what you think below in the comments. As I say, whew, this is Debbie from Texas saying peace out, Maranatha. Let's keep looking up because our King surely is coming.